Okay, I thought I'd take a few minutes and talk about my first impressions of the Many Waters Wrinkle in Time book. This is the fourth book in the series, and for those who don't know anything about me, I love Wrinkle in Time. The first book is amazing. I've not read the second one in some time. I'll need to read it again pretty soon. Maybe within the next year, I might reread that one so I can compare the first and the second book. But the third book was a massive disappointment for me. I have an old video about that, so I won't go into detail there. But Many Waters, this is interesting because it follows the Murray twins. Yes, this is the first book of the series where Meg and Charles have nothing to do with the story. They get mentioned at the beginning, and that's it. They don't even get to appear. But so that's the first weird thing. The second weird thing is that this does not take place after the third book, because the third book, I would say the first and the second book happen probably within a few years of each other. The second and third book is clearly a bit of a time jump because in the third one, Meg is pregnant and Charles Wallace is a teenager. Meanwhile, this one has seemed to go back. Meg is in college. There's no mention of her being pregnant, no mention of her being married to Calvin, which she is in the third one. And for some reason, they say Charles still looks like he's 6. I'm a little confused on how old he's supposed to be. And it doesn't even really say how old the twins are supposed to be. So that's kind of been a little weird for me. Um, I'll go ahead and say there's nothing wrong with following the twins, but I do miss Meg and Charles since they've been kind of our anchors in this series. Even if the book's not as good as the others, that they've been our anchors this entire time. Meanwhile, the twins have just kind of been in the background. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. But basically, these two have gotten themselves time warped to the times of Noah from the Bible, and it's very interesting because there's like angels and I think maybe demons walking around the earth, so that's interesting. Not much has happened so far outside of the twins just kind of getting to know some of the people there and them suffering from a very bad sunburn that they got in the sun for so long it almost like to kill them. But I will say that without going into too much detail at this particular moment, it's very interesting that as the books go on, it feels like they become less kid friendly. Like the first one, Wrinkle in Time deals with some very heavy subject matter. Anyone who's read it knows that, but it still has that kid friendly like layer to it. And then you get to the third book. I can't remember with the second one, as I've said, but you get to the third book and it deals with basically, Calvin's mother being assaulted when she was young, and it's like, okay, that's something I did not expect to see in this series at all. And now in Wrinkle in Time's fourth book, Many Waters, our characters have gone back in the past, and some of these characters are in various states of clothing to the point where I'm like, I know that's can be common, in history. I mean, if you study history at all, you know that the style of dress we have nowadays is not the way they dressed back then. But it's very interesting some of the choices she's made. Basically, all the characters are running around in just loincloths, and I mean everyone is in just a loincloth. And I think to myself, this is very, very odd choice for a kid's book. But I'll keep reading and I'll see what happens. They've met Noah so far, at least one of them has. So we'll have to see on that. But I'll have hopefully more to say some other time.